This is how I'm testing potting soil. So I'm trying to figure out what potting soil I want to use. So there's 8 different soils here that I bought. This is a seedling mix. This is called the Zen Blend. This is the Zen Blend, and I added kelp, bone meal, and blood meal. This is a seedling mix, this with some bagged soil that had some supplements in it. This is black gold cocoa, and this is roots. And so at first, a lot of them looked like that first one I showed you, and they all kind of came up at the same time. And then as time went on, they started to get bigger. And at one point, actually, some of them were bigger than the others, and then time passed and some surpassed. So it all kind of shows what the nutrients are in the soil. So this I bought at Home Depot. I'm not sure how accurate it is. It's from Burpee, and it has 2 settings on it. One is testing the fertility, and one is testing the pH. And supposedly it works kind of through electrical current, and it picks up sort of the minerals and nutrients in the soil. The soil has to be moist, so it is here. So we're going to do the pH. So you stick it in. And so it's saying that my soil is ideal for pH. So then we'll take it, well, maybe we'll just switch over to fertility. And so the fertility meter is down here, and it says too little, ideal, and too much. And so it didn't really move very much. It stayed kind of in the same place, so it's kind of in too little. So it's saying that it doesn't have very high fertility there. And see if it moves for fertility. Move that down. Woo! So that just went up to 5. So it looks like this spot is way more fertile than that spot. So this is a rough meter. How you want to take it, I don't know, but it's a tool that you can use. This is my propagation heated sand table. So there's a plastic container here. In the bottom there is rigid foam insulation, and then 2 inches of sand. And then on top of that sand is a heat cable. And this heat cable runs through the sand bed back and forth, and it's plugged into that thermostat. And then there's 2 inches of sand over the heat cable. And then you keep the sand moist, and at night I cover it up. And then it's a warm, moist environment for the seeds to propagate. So this is what I'm using. You also can use a heat mat. This is just a plug-in heat mat that can, you can also set up to a thermostat so you can control the temperature. The problem with these is they're kind of expensive, and you can only fit 1 to 2 mats a lot of times, or the 5 tray ones are really expensive, so that's why I built this. People also use these to propagate. You could, if you were going to do a hard cutting propagation, you could cut a stem and put it directly into the wet sand and make it root. If you want to see these that are growing, they are loving the wet sand so much that they're coming right through and going into that wet sand. So if I wanted to do some propagation, I could cut things and put it straight into the sand, which I'm hoping to do some testing soon. We're in the back of my garden, and we're going to show what sheet mulching looks like. There's different levels of sheet mulching that you can do. This is the simplest method of sheet mulching. Basically, this is the back of my garden, and it was grass and weeds. So about 2 months ago, I put down some manure. This is composted manure from the next door neighbor horse farm. So I put that down over the weeds, and then I put cardboard, and then I put straw over it, and it's just been raining on and being sitting for a month or 2. So we're going to uncover it and show you what it looks like. So first you'd rake up the straw, and you'll see underneath there's cardboard. If you do this in the fall, this is the ideal time to really do this, is in the fall. And then you can uncover it in the spring, and usually this cardboard is completely broken down. But since I just did this not that long ago, the cardboard's still here. So if you still have cardboard, you can pull it up. The best way to do this, if you have a large area that you need to cover, is to go to a furniture store, and they have ginormous boxes that will cover like an entire area. So you guys can see right here, this cardboard started to break down a lot quicker, and there are tons of worms in here. The worms love all this moisture and cardboard. They start to break it down. It's really great to try to get all the tape off your cardboard. I don't always do it. I do the best I can, but if it's hard, then I leave it on there. Get a little bit and break it up. And depending on how much manure or compost you put down originally, you might want to add some more compost to this before you plant in it. I also put down some kelp, bone meal, and blood meal so that was breaking down and getting added to the soil. So this is kind of what it looks like, and it's pretty easy to plant into.
Sheet mulching is great, but it takes planning and time. So if you want to start a garden tomorrow and all you have is a backyard full of grass, you're going to want to double dig because it's fast and you can get plantable soil right away. My name's Emily and I live in Crescent City. I have had a lot of experience of wanting to have a garden tomorrow. And so I'm pretty well versed in knowing how to get dirt quickly, and I can be the first one to tell you it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. So double digging is a little more work and it takes some time, but you can have plantable soil right away. And so here we have this patch of grass. You're just going to break into it and pull up that first layer of grass. There's lots of roots, lots of rock. So just pop it up and then, see what I mean? A lot more work. Alright, so we have a trench, and notice it's pretty deep. So if you want to grow things like carrots or beets, like things with deep roots, you need a pretty deep trench because you don't want to grow that in compacted soil. And so now that we have a deep trench, we have trench, the bottom dirt, so this is the dirt directly from the deepest part, and then we've got that grass that was back on the top. And so I'm just going to take this and tear it up a little bit, and then I'm going to put it grass side down. So all of this grass is going to work kind of as a nutrient base in the bottom of your trench, and then what you can do is kind of fill in all that grass, whatever grass you've got from the top, grass side down, and then the best part is you just take this nice good soil from the deep part and you dump it over on top of the hole. And so this is just one trench in our whole garden spot. And so let's say we've got this trench is set. Now we move on to the next trench, and you're going to do trench after trench until you get your garden bed the size you want. But what's really great is now this, mix it with a little bit of compost and you're ready to plant.